Oh, we are live. Mara returns, and I am very happy to see you. Thank you for joining me. Hello.
Hello. How's it going in your pink room?
It's going good. How's it going where you're at? I know you're not in America. You're the only person I know, this is going to shock people, that is actually attending the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival, which I'm shocked at. You actually bought a ticket to go. How do you defend
I
yourself?
just love to travel. And honestly, as a woman, I'm kind of sick of talking. So I wanted to go somewhere where that was just not going to be expected of me at all. In fact, punishable. It just felt like, self-care, really,
You
is what
wanted
I
to
thought.
experience, you wanted to experience what it would be like to be segregated from men in different spaces, right?
I'm just sick of having to do it myself. Sometimes it's nice to get a little help with that, really.
Oh,
This is where
great!
that
I'm so
was.
glad. Who are you enjoying? Are you enjoying some of the great acts that are
Oh,
celebrating free speech?
it's really, really great. I can't tell you who I've seen. I mean, I'm legally not allowed to tell you who I've seen. They make you sign something, but they've all been just so stellar with really cutting edge jokes from 1962, and I'm really impressed by all of
I hear people keep talking about you could get behanded, and that makes me laugh. Behanded.
it.
It's not as bad as beheaded, but
No, it's just
pretty.
it's a little slap on the wrist with a knife. Yeah.
What do you think of that? I have to ask you. I mean, like, obviously, you think it's preposterous, and
Craven and gross. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think well, this lines up pretty well because I think it is simply a reminder that we should really not elevate people too highly in our esteem, right? Like, don't have heroes. Don't be surprised when people who have made their living kind of saying obnoxious things try to get as much money as possible saying obnoxious things. And I mean, some of them are wildly disappointing, of course, but at the same time, like, okay, great. Now we know more about who you are.
right, right.
Always useful.
Do you think anybody loses anything as a result of taking the bag?
They're mostly white men, so no. Even no. I mean, like that whole idea of like the cancel culture stuff is just I just think it's pretty ridiculous and like blown out of proportion. The idea of it coming from the left. Do they lose anything? No, I don't think they had a lot of like support from the sort of people that they would lose anyway. Also, what do comedians have to lose, frankly?
Yeah. Well, I guess some moral
Yeah,
authority in
their
talk.
dignity.
Yeah, some moral authority in talking about, for example, freedom of speech.
Did we give these guys any moral authority? See, that's where we went wrong.
I agree with you, but I do think on that issue, yeah, on that issue, it's the only issue that comedians have any moral authority on, because it's the one thing that, generally speaking, 2 weeks before that, we were supposed to be, at least I thought, mostly in solidarity around the cancellation by the federal government of Jimmy Kimmel, which is different
Hmm.
than cancellation by mob rule or wokeness or the market. This is the federal government, so
Right.
yeah, maybe on
Yeah,
that.
I don't think Louis C.K. was rushing to be like, Disney Plus, you're gone. Where how do I cancel? I don't think that was happening. These guys weren't the like forefront of that movement. So, I'm not super surprised.
All right, so enough about that. I mean, I think that there's I mean, just I haven't talked to you, so just the idea that Kimmel got canceled and then returned as a result, again, I think of money, one would say, they were losing so much money as a result of the cancellation. Do you That was a triumph, right? Like, that was a good thing that he returned. I felt like we don't get a lot of wins against the regime, and when we push back and we do win, I want to take a moment to celebrate it. Will you allow for that?
Will I allow for it? Am I in charge of this? Where do you think you are? I love this. Am I now a Saudi Arabia of my own making? This is fantastic for me. Never mind. I take it all back. I like what they're doing. I'm just going to do it myself too, separately in all spaces.
I'd give you all the power. You're a good you strike me. I know you pretty well. Yeah, you don't want to do any harm.
No, I don't. I
I don't want to
just
give you the
want
power
a
in what
little yacht,
you're doing
just a
now. No,
little one.
actually, when you did that,
A
all that
baby
keeps she's gonna murder us all.
yacht. Not well, yeah, no, I am. Absolutely. Of course I am. What were we talking about? I don't even remember. Oh, right. the Kimmel stuff. No, we absolutely should celebrate anytime we have any sort of wins. They are incredibly rare. It is a good reminder that, we do have some financial power, we do have some economic power. It is really tough to organize. It is really tough to like get enough momentum and movement to make a difference, but obviously we can. We have the ability to do it. So that's a great thing. For me, ultimately, it's just I don't know, it's just more on the path, right? Like it's just more recognition that we are not headed towards fascism. We're pretty firmly there. Like we have corporations that are simply just doing what they are told to do, and they're going to continue to do so. And I I mean, I will be surprised if Kimmel continues to stay on the air for some time. My guess is that they then sort of like find another time to be quieter and like a different excuse. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in anything. But it was really nice to see the organizing take place. That's the key bit, is that we can organize when we need to. Well,
In terms of the boycott, you think that actually mattered and had an effect?
oh, it definitely had an effect. Yeah. I mean, like these companies really do care when they lose money. That is absolutely the case. It mattered. I mean, I think it was part of the motivation. Um, I think they also just kind of wanted to like they just kind of wanted to shut it all up, like they didn't want to be in the focus in that way, which that's good too.
Have we talked? The last time we talked, I remember you talked about this thing you'd done, you organized in your community, the
Mm-hmm.
favor party, and people love that. And I hope you got a lot of good feedback because we put that clip out and talking about it, because I know a lot of people love that idea. But did we talk since Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
I don't think so. Did we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
What,
so.
what do you have to say about him and what he stood for when he was alive? What do you want to
He
say
was
about Charlie Kirk's legacy, Maura?
I don't want to say anything. I don't think he's worth having a legacy. He was a pretty shitty person who went around really trying to create these like viral moments where he dunks on a college kid to try to create an infrastructure on the right, which he was very successful in doing. He was very good at being a piece of shit. Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
I, like,
You're going to be
there's not
canceled.
much more. I am going to be canceled. I am absolutely going to be canceled. I am sure I already have been, if anyone cared. It's
I
just nice
thought
to be noticed.
I will say that I thought that a lot of people thought that the reaction to that was going to be a lot worse than it has been right away. I don't know. People were
You mean
thinking,
like the violence in the streets kind of vibe?
they was going to start, they were going to take up arms against us, and there was going to be night raids against any known liberal who had spoken out. I mean, a lot of people lost their jobs over it. I know that, but
Yeah, that's insane. That's the corporate the reason that we should not be run by an oligarchy. But in terms of the like, oh, they're going to take up arms and start a civil war. I mean, they said that when the green M&M wasn't hot enough for them. Like they don't need another reason. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. They're going to say that no matter what. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, was it Tuesday? Take up arms. Yep. That's great. I mean, they're what they're trying to do is they are trying to continually incite the most extreme among them to continue creating these like really terrible terroristic moments. Um, but are they going to unify and create like a civil war where they have any sort of structure? And that seems less likely.
This is interesting. In the live chat, my friend Scott Bennett says, I saw a graphic showing that Google searches for Charlie Kirk have dropped almost back to nothing. The attention span has already forgotten him. I don't know if that's true, if the graphic is accurate or not, but it wouldn't be that shocking given the national attention span that we have, which is also annoying why everybody says they have ADD. I'm so done with everybody saying it, especially adults, but kids too. Like I have ADD. Yeah, everybody does. Like, really?
It's ADHD, Pete. Nobody has ADD
Sorry.
anymore. Come on, man.
Sorry. ADHD,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, my ADHD is kicking in. No, you're not. No, it's not. You're no different than me. We all have a billion things on our minds going on and a fucking phone in our hand that distracts us constantly. At least I do. I don't have any.
Yeah,
I
I
should.
saw somebody the other day saying like, "Yeah, I don't know, she's just kind of a narcissist with really like probably with like borderline personality disorder." And the other person was like, "Yeah, I think we used to just say a bitch. Like, I think that's what you want to say. It's all right. You can just
It
say
is.
she's a
No,
bitch."
it's true. It's everybody is either diagnosing other people or themselves with any number of psychological maladies, and these words seemingly don't mean that much. He's OCD. Well, what does that mean? Does he check his pocket every 5 seconds for his phone, or is he just kind of meticulous, a little bit neurotic? Like, I don't know what these terms mean anymore, especially when people give them to themselves.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I think it's just part of those pendulum swings. For a long time, we sort of had this idea of society that everyone's brain worked the same way. And if yours worked differently, you were odd, there was something off or wrong about you. And we've swung into this place of like, hey, most brains work differently. And we're going to try and like give some classification and criteria to what it means if your brain kind of works like this or like that. And I think that's positive because it is in the world of like, we should expand our ideas of accepting how people's brains work and what they might need and be more accommodating. And I think that's positive. But yeah, the pendulum always swings a bit too far until it kind of settles out. So it doesn't really bother me when people kind of overuse all the therapy terms and like grab a hold of them. Ultimately, we're just trying to understand ourselves and each other with very imperfect tools. So, okay, sometimes it's annoying. That's
Uh,
that's where I land on that.
you know
Sorry.
what? What's annoying is that fucking response. That
That's really
nuanced,
fair.
that nuanced, thoughtful response.
I know,
Uh,
I hate me too.
that had some.
It's just that I have, I'm hyper fixating on this because of my ADHD, and so I have to get to the
Let's talk
that's
about the
the issue.
government shutdown, which on the eve of, you organized a pretty impressive event, bringing together, a bunch of organizations and people. You get the credit for it, and you deserve it, and it's awesome. And it's one of the things I wanted to actually, for sure, ask you about. So, what did you do? Why did you do it? And where are we now?
Yeah, we did a big event in DC on the Tuesday of the midnight deadline. So that was the 30th of September. I'm totally lost in time right now. Saudi Arabia will do that to you. Um, but it was a big event at the Capitol with I think we had like 35 different orgs. Many brought in storytellers and speakers, just regular people who were talking about how the shutdown would affect them, but also how cutting healthcare, which is the main point. This is what's happening right now: is Republicans want to slash healthcare even further. That's what they want to do, and they want to do it because they want to pay for the tax cuts that they already passed to billionaires. They could have done all of this before, but they already used the reconciliation process, and they used it so that they could make sure that they got these tax cuts through. And now they're stuck with the budget, and they want to do these huge, huge cuts, and they really want to hurt people. And you know, I give Dems a lot of shit, but to their credit, they are standing strong on this and being really loud about it. And it means a shutdown, which is awful and affects a lot of people. But at this point, the Trump administration has done so much to already gut the government in so many ways. The shutdown is not as impactful. Like, they used to be able to be like, look at all these people you're hurting when we shut down the government, but they fired all those people. I mean, not all of them, but they fired such a huge chunk to begin with. The shutdown doesn't have as extreme an impact as it used to, and the healthcare cuts that they want to push through are going to have absolutely generational impacts. They're going to kill people. So we did this event in DC, and we did it because we wanted to give people a platform to share their story. We wanted those stories to get out. We wanted groups to share them. We wanted people to share them. And we wanted Democrats to have a platform as well, because, you know, I hear a lot, and it is a very fair criticism, and I levy this criticism as well, that like Dems aren't out there, they're not talking, they're not doing the circuits, they're not like saying enough, they're not being bold and loud enough. And I think that's true. And I have a lot of problem with leadership on the Dem side. But I will also say that so much of media doesn't give them a platform. Like they are not the ones that most media companies go to. They are not interested in platforming Dems for the most part. So it was also an attempt just to give them a platform to speak and to talk about why they were doing this, and so we could really push that out to people as well. So yeah, it was a very last minute scramble event to do. We may, if this continues on, we may end up doing another event, and I will tell you all about it if we do.
Yeah, I want to be there and try to cover it and talk to some of the people that
That'd be great.
and I think it's important what you're saying in terms of credit, in terms of what can or can't be done. And obviously the criticism of leadership, certainly Chuck Schumer, who's just an embarrassment, and Hakeem Jeffries, which I don't understand why that guy's got to be such, I mean, I guess he just seems bought and paid for by certain special interests. Obviously, it would seem the Israeli lobby when it comes to not endorsing Zoran Mamdani. Rhetorically, the guy seems pretty good. I kind of liked him until until that. It feels like, I'm not sure, but I mean, is that who you're talking about? Generally speaking, the House
Yeah.
Minority Leader and the Senate.
That's what I've been trained to call leadership. Yep. Schumer and Jeffries. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, those are the two. You have a minority leader as well, but I mean, minority of the minority.
Yeah.
They are better. But no, Schumer is terrible. And I really wanted to like go after you actually for Schumer because you're in New York, but then I realized I'm in Pennsylvania and I can't say shit. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's bad.
Your boy is real bad.
He's
German.
yeah.
But did he come? Did he start off as kind of a? Didn't he start off as kind of a progressive hero?
No, he
Okay.
did not start off as a progressive hero, but uh he was liked generally. He was not. He was considered not as far to the right as a Connor Lamb, but we also had Malcolm Kenyatta in that race, who was viewed much more as a progressive, although I've heard mixed things as well. But no, I mean there were concerns about Fetterman. He played really well, in terms of like capturing a wide swath of voters in Pennsylvania.
Do you think anything happens, or what are you concerned about, or what do you see happening during the shutdown that could change public perception or opinion? I mean, right away, all the major political media companies are doing polling about who's to blame and so on. But what does that add up to necessarily? And I do think, the healthcare issue that they're fighting on is an important place to draw the line. And it would seem that overwhelmingly the progressive movement is supportive of Democrats for drawing the line at there and trying to use the leverage that they have to get these insurance premiums down for millions of Americans, I think, including me. But does anything happen? I mean, I saw the Secretary of Transportation and former Real World star Sean Duffy today saying that in about a week or so, it's going to affect airline safety. Some of these air traffic controllers are taking up Uber, which, he said that today. And I was like, really? Are they really doing that? Or is that like one guy that's not getting
Well, they
paid?
might be, but it doesn't have anything to do with the shutdown. Like that's just you're telling me that you are underpaying your air traffic controllers because they're essential employees. So that's not a thing. Now it will. I mean, it absolutely will start to affect people because government services actually do affect people, and it will. There will be it will be felt, just not to the extent that it would have been in previous years shutdowns. And I have no idea how long it will go on. And that's a conversation I've been having with like colleagues and coworkers who are more informed on federal policy than I
Yeah.
always am, or like really watch this. And nobody's got a good answer on that because it's really hard to see an end. And I think Trump said something like, well, I'll negotiate with the Democrats because I care about healthcare, which is nonsense. He's not reached out to anybody. Nobody's talking to him. He's not talking to them. Um, And when the shutdown happened, Republican Congress weren't even in town. Like they weren't even there to try to like sit in
Right.
the room and hammer it out. They abandoned post completely because they are completely just lockstep behind Trump. So they're just kind of waiting for him to tell them what to do.
So, in terms of who you're talking, and like nobody has any idea when this is going to end, the shutdown.
Nobody has any idea.
It's interesting too, because it would seem in shutdowns past that there was a lot more focus on them. But today there's so much else happening, particularly the federal government sending secret police everywhere they can, specifically Portland and Chicago over the past week. It seems like we're very focused on that. And I don't know. It's going to take something happening for people and media and political reporters to focus more in on specifically the consequence of the shutdown. I think it seems. I don't know.
Well, no, absolutely. But I think it's a really interesting thing to contrast because what you're saying is ICE are essential employees. Really, you want to fund ICE and take away healthcare. Like that's the shutdown, I think, makes really, really clear. That's where they're more than happy to continue putting money, and they're going to take it from people who actually need it. I mean, it is a really simple comparison. And the thing is, we all know that it's getting the word out to everybody else because most people don't know that a shutdown's happening, I think. Like, that's not a thing that a lot of people are even necessarily aware of, let alone who's responsible or why or how it affects them.
I think
It's tricky.
I think most people are also not so much aware of federal troops and secret police being sent into different cities because it's not their city and they don't care. And a lot of people support it. A lot of people are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all these undocumented people should be kicked out. I also think a lot, those of us who see these videos of people having the shit kicked out of them, and they're just every day, there's countless ones, it would seem. I think either they're not seeing them or some people are seeing them and they're not horrified by them, which is hard to believe. But, I think a lot of people just dismiss them like, well, that guy shouldn't be here. And so he should have his face mashed into the street.
I think
And
it's pretty easy to breeze past, yeah, for a lot of people. And
yeah,
I think they are fundamentally not seeing it. And I also but I guess the other thing, though, is that I don't know. Every so often, it feels like overwhelming, like we're up against this impossible force because there are just so many people who support Trump and what the administration is doing.
yeah,
And I think like a more important thing to remember is more people choose to ignore it than support it. And
yeah.
I I think that's awful. And I'm not saying like good for them, but those are people that can be pulled in. And I think that's important to remember. We're not up against as many supporters as we think. We are up against a lot of people who are actively avoiding it.
Another story that's not getting enough attention, although I find at least one segment or one soundbite every day from a farmer to share on the show, is what's happening across the country to farmers whose markets, whose products, whose crops are not being sold. The market is closed. Specifically, soybean farmers. You're hearing a
Yeah.
lot about. They are preparing apparently a package to bail them out. Maura, this one's fucking nuts to me. This one is crazy that we saw this happen the first time Trump was president. There was a bailout for farmers. And remember the bailouts that banks got. You could be as against them as you want. There's a good argument to be made that people that had nothing to do with that were saved because the banks didn't go under. You can make an argument against it as well, that they shouldn't have. You can make an argument against bailing out GM, which the Obama administration supported doing, and saving the American automobile industry. But this is not that. This is a direct, specifically self-inflicted wound by the current president that immediately had consequences, began a trade war, and now we're giving them a bailout. It's total welfare for farmers who don't want it. I mean, even the most right-wing Trump, supporting farmer who grew a crop, he wants to sell that crop. He doesn't want it to die. That only creates more problems and trouble for him. What do you make of what's happening with the bailout for farmers and the trade war?
I mean, I think the again, the frustrating thing is that we are not drawing these immediate connections and that the individuals who are being most impacted are not being heard. And that is incredibly frustrating. I mean, there is such an infrastructure in place to just simply protect Trump no matter what he says or does. And that continues. I I mean, it's fucking infuriating, but like everything. I mean, it doesn't even It doesn't even hit my like top 10 of things that I'm like noting this week, which is insane because it should.
Now is the time to name any of those others if you want, but I've got to also ask you just
It's
about
just
like
Saudi Arabia. Nothing but that. Anyway, go on, sorry.
just the Saudi Arabian Comedy
Just Saudi
Festival.
Arabia.
I did you see AOC went on Instagram? She's very effective. I like her very much. I think she's really good, and
She's a great communicator.
I think she's got a lot of credibility. Last night she went on Instagram and she was like knitting while talking. I was pretty impressed with that because like if I'm going in front of people, hundreds of thousands of people in her case, probably like I want to be pretty dialed in. She was multitasking. Anyway, one of the clips that from that talk went viral was she was shitting on Stephen Miller, saying, "Laugh at him. He's like 4'10". And we started this way by bashing, these fascist men and others men. And I wanted to just ask you here towards the end about your thoughts on Pete Hegseth and Trump addressing all those generals last week. It was obviously parodied everywhere, but like that was something to both be terrified of and also laugh really hard at. Like it was the worst thing my eyeballs have seen a person do live on stage as a performance. It was so bad. It was so very cringe.
Oh,
He said FAFO, fuck around that like it was no beardos, no more beardos, no more fatties. I mean, what did
yeah.
you
It was such a disaster. Pete Davidson's dad died again. Yeah.
Someone said that because Pete Davidson is performing in the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival, his dad, they've connected their energy grid to Pete Davidson's dad, who's providing all the energy they need by just his body turning over. I didn't do it right. But like Pete Hegseth, like it wasn't tough. Like I don't find that tough or intimidating. I find it so weak, and I think that our enemies do too. Like it's not tough. And none of those generals I think were particularly impressed. I bet you the vast majority of them were horrified, honestly.
Oh yeah, no. That was for nobody. That was for nobody but Trump and Pete to stand in front. Like, no, nobody saw that and was just like, oh, that's power right there. No, they looked like bumbling idiots, but they always do. They just do it for themselves. And the only people who look at it and think anything good about it are the spin rooms, just being like fawning over the strength and might and whatever the fuck they want to say. But I saw somebody, and gosh, I wish I remembered who this was because he is a very funny person on the internet and probably in real life, but not someone I know, who was just like, everything is explained if you just assume everyone's 12 now. Like everyone's 12. Oh, you want to get all the generals together and be real tough? Of course you do, buddy. You're 12. Like if you just go with that mentality, it all makes total sense. Sure, of course, that's a normal thing to do because you're 12. That's exactly what's happening.
It really does resonate a lot. That's very it's very accurate. Yeah. And what do you think of beardos in general?
Beardos?
That's what he said. He said no more beardos. He doesn't want like the military. You can't have facial hair.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
You did,
Oh, I see. No
he
more
said
beardos.
it. The Secretary of Defense said the word beardo.
Man, I can't tell you how much I try to avoid hearing anything that these guys say because additionally, like not just that they are saying ridiculous things in stupid places and making dumb comments, their voices are so bad. Like they all have awful voices that you never want to have to hear. Like you feel like you're subjecting yourself to something.
I'm trying to think if I can push back on somebody who has a really, great voice. And I'm failing.
I knew one.
I can't think of, I'm trying to think of a right-wing commentator or elected or that somehow has some kind of a gravitas or a intimidation. And I literally keep laughing in my head because I'm thinking of Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell,
God, yeah.
Lindsey Graham, Hawley, who there's all these rumors about his sexuality.
Yeah. I mean, who cares?
Do you think that women should be allowed to serve in combat? I think they're too emotional.
You think that men in combat are too emotional to let women in?
Women should not be. He wants Hegseth and others don't think women should serve in combat. or trans people either, because their medications, they throw them all over the place, and I think women are too emotional.
I think that when you have spent your entire life having women tell you what a piece of shit you are and reject you to your face, you don't want them to be armed. Like, I think that's really all it is. Like, you don't want them to have any additional training in the ways that they are already destroying you.
Right. That's a really good point. Eye patch congressman has a nice voice. Can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, that guy. He's out though. He was gone so quick. Dan? Was
He's
it?
out.
Isn't he out? Isn't
No,
he
he's
gone?
still in Congress. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I
How
thought he was
about
gone.
Seb
What do I know?
Gorka? Dan Crenshaw. Seb Gorka.
His name is Seb. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, and his body is so bad. No offense. I don't body shame people unless they're fascist.
I have no idea what he looks like, but his name is Seb, and I want to know nothing more.
Yeah, I think it's really hard, and I'm sorry, but I do think this. I think it's very hard to come off as a tough guy. And I mean this, talking tough, much as being tough, if you have small or large breasts. Something about like a B cup, a man with like little boobies. Seb Gorka has like
what are you talking about?
Seb Gorka has titties.
Okay. All right. I believe you.
But do you think that if you saw a man with small breasts, like Trump also has?
I don't care about the breast size of anyone involved. I've got to say, I don't know. I just hope they get fitted for the right size bra, because that's a difficult thing to do.
Well, I'm glad you have empathy for them. Apparently,
you want the right support. Otherwise, you're going to get real pissed off. You're not going to feel right. It's going to like be really frustrating, and you're going to take it out on other people.
Maybe that's why they're so upset all the time.
Maybe just saying, a good fitting, like one of the high end places, someplace classy. Don't go to Victoria's Secret. They're not going to help you.
Really, I feel like you might be talking about not these men. That's what I feel.
Just talking about everyone. Don't go to Victoria's Secret to get fitted for a bra. That's firsthand experience.
All right. Well, this was awesome. What else? What else did I need to ask you about, or anything else? I don't know. Israel. I don't know if you know what's happening there.
Bad things, I would imagine. Bad things.
Today, Trump said he'll take a look at potentially pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the leading pedophile. We saw another pastor from a mega church.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I rarely see like a progressive religious man of the cloth being caught. I feel like every day there's a right wing. Maybe we just remark on them more because they're so outspoken against sexual anything.
I don't think we remark on them more. I think that is just, I think when your whole idea of the world is that you want to do something that we all know is absolutely vile and evil, you go about creating a world where you can't be questioned. How else are you going to do that? Like it is hand in hand. Like that is what you are going to need to do because you want to do terrible things to humans.
I think that's, say it again differently. When you create, I really think it's a really good point. You create this world in which you are the leader. You have all of the credibility. You talk down to and point out all these horrible things so that you can create kind of a world where you can get away with such horrible things.
You need to be impervious from any sort of criticisms or attacks. You absolutely need to create a world in which you are esteemed and vaulted so that you can get away with it. Because if you aren't, if you're just some random fucking dude, like people are going to come at you. They're going to notice things and they're going to call it out. But if you have created a world where you have this like absolute authority over the people around you, then they kind of can't do anything.
Yeah. Kim in the chat, Kim says every accusation is a confession. It would seem. I heard the Supreme Court's back though. That's good news. Apparently they're going to take up an argument.
They had like an ins and outs for summer, like what's out, getting too tan, what's in, Supreme Court's back.
They're back.
Oh, I wish.
And this apparently they're going to be taking up a case on conversion therapy, which is, of course, if a person, especially a child, I think, identifies as LGBT, you could fix them. It's considered by psychologists across the board, in my understanding, abusive to try to do that. It's a horrible thing to do, and it only makes it worse, is my understanding, and can lead to more self-harm and suicide. But what are your thoughts on the Supreme Court, or are you for or against conversion therapy? What if it wasn't about your
Can we convert the Supreme Court? Can we try on them first? Let's convert them into not pieces of shit. A few of them, they're going to do fine, but for the majority, it's going to be a rough slog.
We should use a different kind of conversion therapy against the justices of the Supreme Court.
I'm happy to run it. I mean, somebody has to, and I'm just willing to step up.
You are so brave and courageous. I wonder what that will look like.
It's not going to be pretty.
It is going to be. They're such Christian nationalists on the court. I think that anything that comes up in front of them that deals with culture war related, gender related, sexual orientation related, reproductive rights related, you kind of know where they're going to fall.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We have absolutely. The court is currently full of right-wing crazies, and I mean, I feel bad, like especially when you read the dissent from the liberal justices. That is just, they are so full of like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
this has to stop. It's really awful. It's really awful to see.
All right. Well,
on that high note.
Are there any favor dinners coming up or anything else that you're doing to create community and unify people that we need to know about?
No, I'm continuing with the salon that I run of women in the community, and that keeps growing. So that's really great. And we are rallying around a local mayoral candidate and doing some real hyper-local politic stuff.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And you are, more people are coming to it, you're saying?
Yeah, it keeps growing. It's pretty great. Yeah, it's really nice. In fact, one of our members, participants, I don't know what you want to call her, but she is interested in trying to do this then for high schoolers, for teenagers, and like doing a co group. So
Love that.
Yeah, we're looking into it.
Love that. If you want to know more about how to do it, reach out to Maura, and she can give you the blueprint, or at least what's been working for her and her community, because we love that. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, it's great to catch up. It's great to see all the people in the live chat commenting about how happy they are to see you. One person says we need to save the date. We need to save the date for Pod Jam 3 so we can wrap Maura in bubble wrap. I think they want to protect you and preserve you like a jar of jam.
That's lovely. I would love that. And someone needs to do it. I actually always considered one of those big like hamster balls. I feel like would be good for me. Hard to get on a plane, but like I think it would be good. Maybe they could do the thing where they like, they drop you from the bottom and then they like swing.
I mean,
like,
I full on
like a Fellini film is what I'm looking at. Yeah.
I full on imagined you in a giant human-sized hamster ball, at first laughing and then panicking because I know you're going to hurt your ankle.
Inside the ball. That's right. That's absolutely correct. But do tell me on Pod Jam. I will save the date.
This is hilarious at first, and then she's pretty banged up. We got to let her out of the ball. We shouldn't have made it clear. Why is she wearing a fur coat? All right, Maura, thank you very much for joining me. As always, thank you, everybody, for joining me live, and we really appreciate it. Go support Maura right now. Follow her on Blue Sky and all the things, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.